Alright, thank you for tuning in on AWANI with me, Nabila Khalida, and right now we're on a topic that is increasingly relevant today, which is about AI or artificial intelligence and how is it effective or relevant towards today's cybersecurity landscape, which is about reducing security analysts' burnout through AI-driven security operations platforms, and this is mainly due to SOC or Security Operations Center analysts burnout through AI, where SOC analysts face overwhelming volumes of alerts and manual tasks, and which is leading towards higher burnout rates. And to discuss this further, we have the right authority joining me in the studio this morning, which is Sarene, the country manager of Palo, Alto Networks Malaysia. Thank you. How are you?
Thank you, Nabila. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
It's an honor to be invited to come on Astro AWANI. Thank you so much.
All right. First up, maybe we can start with how is AI currently being integrated into cybersecurity landscapes, and what specific roles does it play to actually enhance security effectiveness?
Yeah. So AI is a big word, and AI has been in the market for a long time. And right now, it is also transformed the business landscape to a point that cybersecurity become an inflection point. Right now, we are looking at a lot of businesses because of AI. They have also come up with a lot of different attack surface, and because of the different mode of doing business and exposing to the customers, and therefore they are also inviting a lot of bad actors coming into the business and attacking on the cybersecurity side. So one of the trends that we see is that the bad actors, or the attackers, and the defenders both are using AI. And usually, where they attack is from data. So really, security is about data problem. And when the bad actors are going into the environment and taking out loads and loads of data, and that's where the cybersecurity is being breached. So AI is really, a two-way sword, right? While we are using AI to protect, and the bad actors are using AI to attack. So what do we see right now here? You must be using a very good cybersecurity system to protect your environment. And what we are seeing today is that we are analyzing nearly about 750 million attacks events at a daily basis, and 1.5 million new and haven't been seen before attacks that we're also analyzing at a daily basis. So all these are due to the age of AI, but we can't run away from it because, like I say, the attackers are using AI to attack us, and therefore the defenders, we have to use AI to fight AI.
That's the problem of now that we're facing in the technology landscape. But before we go deep further into the discussion, can you explain a little bit more on SOC or Security Operations Center, and why is it critical in the modern cybersecurity landscape?
Yeah, SOC, you're right. So the Security Operations Center is like air control, traffic control. It is very critical. It's just like the air traffic control system in the airport, right? It's so critical because you are looking at information from all over from your organization, and then how you control, monitor, detect, and respond. And therefore, in the company, when you have a very good SOC, you will be able to not just ingest the information coming from the different parts in your environment. You're supposed to use the information and turn into insights and block and protect. So right now, an SOC, you are supposed to be having the ability to not just ingest log, but also provide them the automation so that everything is being blocked and is not just relying on human to analyze the data. So that is what we are talking about, the SOC.
How about the new SOC or the next generation SOC, or perhaps we're talking about security information and event management, SIEM solutions that actually differ from the traditional approaches, and in what ways can they actually transform security operations that we have right now?
Yeah, so a traditional SIEM, what does it do? So it is a solution for you
Yep.
to ingest log data. So you can pull in the different log information from across the environment, be it from your firewall, from your cloud, and so on. And then what does it do? It passes on to a human being to analyze. So when there are too much of this log being analyzed by a human being, and it becomes human being a fatigue because of too much log to analyze. And it doesn't tell you which ones of these logs are false positive, because you have all the information coming in. And it's really like you and me to keep looking at the screen and try to analyze what is real, what is fake,
What is not.
what is noises, and what is the real attack, right? And this is what STEAM is all about. But the next gen SOC is different because it has AI built into it. It is automation built into it. So what does it mean?
Yeah.
That means if we collect all this log into you, the AI is supposed to be doing the analysis for you, right? So it will rule out all the so-called events that are not an incident. So it will leave it to the human being at the end of, like for instance, level 3, right? Level 1, 2, and 3, it will look at the different analysts, right? So let the machine, let the AI do the elementary job. And then they will rule out for those really serious incidents, then the human being will decide what should we do with it, okay? Now, for instance, in Palo Alto Networks, our own SOC, we ingest about 36 billion events every day. And from there, we will sift out, the AI will sift out all the noises, all the false positive, and it will down to 123. So even from that events, only 8 are going into the our level 3, right? Because all the rest, after the machine looking into it, and it will say, no, these are also noises. And then the rest will really, the serious one, the real incidents will go to our analysts to take a look at it, yeah.
Looking at it right now, we're in the transition, the process of transitioning from traditional SOC towards the autonomous SOC or the next gen SOC. So how can organizations actually navigate, to have a successfully navigate this shift, and what could be the possible challenges coming?
Yeah, so the challenges that right now we face, a lot of entities out there, they are still using the traditional way of protecting the environment.
Yeah.
Meaning you're still ingesting log and you still have shifts and shifts of human being analyzing all the false positive events and try to see whether they are real incidents or new attacks or not. So most of the time, when it comes to the end of the real attacks, perhaps your data has been exfiltrated,
Correct.
right, from your environment. And that's what you got, the real attack, the real ransomware that came into the environment. By the time it's really too late, right? And therefore, we have to look into automation, look into AI, and let the machine do that part first. And by the time it gets into that, to the real incidents, and these are all the real ones. Now, traditionally, we are looking at a lot of industry average on the way they respond. They're about 60 minutes, which is considered a very, very good industry average for response. But right now, we can make it down to the mean time to detect and mean time to response will be significantly much better. For instance, our own SOC or our own solution, we can help our entity, our customers, and ourselves to reduce the mean time to detect into 10 seconds and mean time to response into 1 minute. That means before the attack really goes in and do something in your environment and exfiltrate the data, you will be able to block already. So this is what we are talking about, using automation and AI in your environment.
Do you have a specific or some perhaps successful stories of making it, like you mentioned earlier, it's time saving and more effective. So do you have any successful stories about it?
In fact, we have been helping a lot of customers worldwide on this. And ourselves, our own SOC, is already a very, very good story. Because how we use our SOC is such. Level 1, level 2, handled by AI. So what do we do with our level 3? doesn't mean that they sit there and don't work, right? So how do we use our analysts is that when they're not doing anything, they're actually doing something very important, meaning they will launch attacks on our own system, okay? And they will look at the different models that we have. Like, for instance, there are 1,000 over models in the industry. We would use that, and we would work on those models and try to use it to launch attack on our system, and then we block. So, and we will also teach our AI, train our AI how to block. And therefore, the more we train our AI or models, the more they block, the more that they know. And therefore, we would come up with these antidotes. With the antidotes that we have, we inject into our own solution. And that is how, right now, we are doing it ourselves. We also implement all these solutions to our customers worldwide.
How's the adoption rate so far in organizations in Malaysia specifically?
Malaysia, because we are still a bit far away, depending on which industry, from the worldwide. So a lot of our entities are still using the traditional SIM. Okay, and right now, you can't wait any longer because the bad actors are very, very fast. They could really come into your system and take over all your data in as short as just 11 hours.
Wow.
Now, it used to be days and weeks and months where they inject certain thing in your environment and then you wait for it to manifest. No longer. They are really, really fast because they're also using AI on their end to attack the system.
So you have to fight back with AI as well.
AI has to fight AI, yes.
We've talked about the alert fatigue earlier. So what specific strategies or best strategies that we should use to actually employ to reduce the alert fatigue among security analysts earlier?
Yeah, so imagine you have to sit there staring at your screen with different shifts and detect and to analyze which ones are real incidents and which one are false positive. It is really a very mundane job, and it's very repetitive. Every day you come to the office and stare at the screen, right? Therefore, it has caused a lot of churns, right, on professionals like this. And not just that, even to get enough cybersecurity professional for Malaysia is a big question mark. Right now, we have about 13,000 cybersecurity professionals in Malaysia, and it's definitely not sufficient. So the country intends to go to 25,000 in 2025, right? So how do we go about doing that? We, Palo Alto Networks, we have an academy program, which we work with the universities to train the students so that the more people we train, the more cybersecurity professionals outside, they could also help to defend, right? And of course, with all this AI. So automation part is very important because we talked about it. Use automation so that the people are there to do the more important work, which is to look at using AI to fight AI, how to launch a program to train the models to defend, right, properly. And let the machines do the rest, while at the same time we are also training more professionals in the country so that we get more alliances.
So we start early through institutions, tertiary educations.
Yes.
But can I know which sector that is actually crucial to have or adopt this AI-driven security operation platforms? Maybe it's a banking system. Maybe you can share?
All industry, all entities, you can't run away from attacks, right? Because at the end of the day, whether you're banks, whether you're government, whether you're SME, whether you're manufacturing, all these data are very precious to the company, right? And therefore, if you're running a business, of course, you don't want to be compromised. So, in fact, all industry are very critical. Now, manufacturing right now, when we look at the incident report, the manufacturing industry are the most compromised industry. However, the criticality to the public, of course, will be the government and the FSI industry, because we are talking about impacting the public, impacting our own financial, our own pockets. So all industries are crucial, but of course, the more customer-facing, the more rugged-facing type of industry or entities are very, very, very crucial.
This is more on data and statistics question. How do you look at the current situation of cybersecurity right now, and how bad is it?
How bad it is? Okay, so all countries face the same problem because the bad actors, they don't discriminate any countries, or they wouldn't purposely help any countries and not to attack them. In fact, we have seen, a lot of recent attacks
Recent
this year.
IT outage.
Yeah, that one, and also previously a lot of other ransomware attacks for the country too. Not just impacting Malaysia, they're also impacting other ASEAN countries and
globally.
Countries outside of this region. So nobody can run away from all these attacks. And in fact, if we're talking about whether we are attacking a lot, then yes, we're being attacked a lot lately because as the country is growing, and we are getting a lot prominent in the world, and therefore people look at us and say, okay, maybe we should, look at Malaysia or Indonesia and any, of these ASEAN countries. So no, there's no country can run away from the bad actors.
Okay. Speaking of which, what role do compliance and reporting in cybersecurity, in modern cybersecurity especially, and how can organizations ensure that they meet evolving regulatory advancements? Because we know right now it's a fast pace of technology advancement. Right, maybe today we have AI, maybe next year we don't know what we're going to face, what kind of technologies we're going to have in the future. So how do we stay a step ahead?
Yes, like you say, how do we stay a step ahead? Because the bad actors, they are really, really fast. They're always planning because that's what they do. So the compliance side is very important. Now, we know that a lot of entities, their board members are looking at that. At the country level, the government is also looking at that, right? For instance, we have the data breach notification system, which and any entities are a breach, you're supposed to be report to the government. So the compliance side is definitely there. People are asking. The governance body of the different industry, they're also looking at cybersecurity very, very rigorously and seriously. So at the entity level, right, at the customer's level, so what do we need to do? So they should be running the governance, their compliance reports also very rigorously, so that they have to make sure that all systems are in place. Then what do they see? You have to look at the different attack surfaces. If you're running cloud, you're running on-premise, or you're running mobile applications, all these are different ways of being attacked. And therefore, when you look at compliance and governance, you should be looking at all these different devices, different ways of a surface, right? Whether they are protected in each of these areas. And also, not just that, because compliance should also come with, okay, so fine, maybe we have silo protection, but is it sufficient? Because when it comes to silo protection, you're looking at a big entity, a big organization at different parts, and it shouldn't be like that. When you look at compliance, you should look at the whole platform, right? How can the whole environment be integrated so that the data integrated, all the systems are integrated? Because most of the time, the attacks are from each individual silo system. When you only look at silo system, perhaps even the skill set within the company, they might not be able to build up the specialty, the specialization in all the different silo concepts, different silo vendors and brands and solutions. And most of the time, these are the weaker points because of not enough skill set, because all the systems are not integrated properly. So when you look at when a certain body in the company, look at governance, look at compliance, they should be looking at, are we be able to consolidate all these different platforms into something that is more meaningful to the company, right? Because we have reviews saying that average there are about 73 different vendors in the environment, or more than 10 of the solutions are in the environment. And therefore, imagine if you have a group of analysts, a group of engineers, how much of the skills can they build, based on all these different vendors? And who is there to ensure the integration of all these different systems in the environment to make sure they work well? So compliance and governance should be looking at platformization.
And this brings to my next question,
Yes.
which includes two.
Yes.
It's about, does our institution is ready to actually give or provide a skill set or syllabus, education syllabus on integrating this AI that's comprehensive on AI, especially on AI-driven security operation platforms? Are our education systems ready? That's the first question. Second is, should we make it a policy already when it comes to governance of organizations on AI or cybersecurity?
It is definitely a good practice for all organizations, for all entities, be it you are either private sector or the public sector, to look at platformization. Because when it comes to platformization, that means when you skill up your people, you should be looking at, right, okay, for instance, we choose multiple of maybe 5 solutions in the company, and therefore they should be specializing in these 5 solutions, and that's it, right? Make sure they all integrate, make sure you are very, very skillful on these 5. Anything happens, you know how to support, you know how to do remediation, just based on these 5 and so on, right? So look at the whole platformization.
Maybe last one. How important are continuous support and updates in maintaining? We've talked about solutions, we have talked about challenges. Now in terms of maintaining long-term, we're talking about long-term right now. So how about maintaining this AI? Because we might never know, again, we might never know what's going to happen. So how about we maintain this cybersecurity in all organizations? So what are the steps that should be taken?
In fact, maintaining the system, upgrading the system, is not just for long term, even for immediate, right? At every point in time, you should be looking at updating the system, maintaining it. Because the bad actors, because of the AI, they are very, very advanced, right? They're evolving, they are very, very advanced in terms of attack that they are launching. So if your systems are not being supported, if you're not looking at all the latest version, if you're not looking at the latest technology, and therefore you'll be lagging behind, right? So therefore, a lot of companies, they get compromised because that part of the technologies are not there. And they are thinking of, how much do I need to spend to ensure that I'm always up to date and to always that I'm always at the forefront of my cybersecurity. And therefore, pricing is one thing, right? But what is going to be the best security outcome that you want to achieve? So having a good maintenance, doing the patches, and always looking at what are the new ways that you could come in and detect and block, which is very, very important. And today, a lot of people in the industry is talking about AI. But we are looking at precision AI. Because AI may be giving you a lot of good information and help you to block and protect in a certain accuracy. But how do you know the AI outcome is accurate? And how often is your data model for being very, very accurate? So that's why we're talking about precision AI. Okay.
So being the solution provider, do you have a different packages? For example, we have big institutions, big organizations, and we have SMEs. Do you have a different packages for different to cater all these different sizes of business? And perhaps last one, your hopes, aspirations, and a little bit of your outlook on this AI right now, or any technologies that's coming forward. So what are your hopes and wishes?
Okay. All organizations are different. The way they want the cybersecurity to be. Some may want to just buy the solution and say, I will do the maintenance, support, and manage the whole SOC myself, right? All the solutions of endpoint, firewall, everything myself. Some companies may choose to say, let me outsource this piece to another company. And we support all these different variations, right? Because that's what the customer need, and that's what we will supply. So what is going to be in the future? The future is now, right? Because things are evolving so fast, you really wouldn't know what is going to be, how is the future look like, right? But look at it now, because future can be now, right? So like I say, precision AI will be the way to go. AI is going to be there, but how accurate would be the way that you analyze, the way you block, the way you look at all these different events turning into incidents? Precision AI is really the way to go. Be precise, and be precise on your block, be precise on your protection.
Be precise on the block and be precise on your protection, and the future is now. That was said by Sarene, the country manager of Palo, Alto Networks Malaysia. That's the whole conversation on how we can reduce security analysts from getting burnt out through AI-driven security operations platforms. So thank you again so much for the insightful and fruitful conversation on AI. That's been a hot topic that we're discussing right now. So again, thank you so much, and you can find the whole discussion on all of our social media platforms. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.